Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? Like I have been saying for quite some time this week, here is another show that has ended, and as for shows that I kind of didn't really, out of all the shows I was watching, this show is more like, okay, it's cool, and it has a nice concept that I want to see where it could go if it plays out. And lo and behold, it played out pretty well. I'm not disappointed by watching it. And to think that when I saw the last week's episode 11, I honestly thought they were going to give us just like a episode where they just chill back, don't do much, enjoy or go reminisce about what's happened already or something like that. And they completely went like 100% opposite of that, and I applaud them and applaud them for that. Not only did they do that, they chose to, introduce us to a character that could possibly show up in another season. Um, they didn't really give us any indication that these anothers aren't gonna pop up and they aren't gonna cause trouble, which is another way of me saying like these are the types of shows that have concepts that can just go like the story writes itself. You know what I mean? Like anything they really think of or anything they look up can become one of their episodes. And sure, a lot of them, like the one looking for a sister and stuff like that, it's going to be a lot harder for them to make the choices to put that out there. But for the most part, this episode alone could have already been like the how the series played out even further. um, Him helping a loner looking old man who really is another and just is like he has lost his old home and is looking for another home, and to think that because he stumbled into the right person, they're gonna get it done. Like they're gonna find a way, shape, or form to get this man a home. Well, it looks like a man, but really it's like a bear god. So it was pretty weird. Not, and when I say weird, it's pretty weird in a cool way. So I was happy with how they chose to do that. Not to mention the fact that whoever kind of he stumbles upon, he either they ran the opposite way or they stood their ground and they're like, nah, bro, like you ain't coming around here. So it was really interesting how that all worked out. Um, I don't think I don't think they showed the three monkeys that be drinking all the time just because they practically just live out in the street somewhere, and just get drunk and get humans drunk and stuff like that. So it's not surprising um, that that wasn't one of the spots they went to. Uh, the other thing that was pretty cool about it all was the fact that whoever kind of stepped up to the plate in the case of against that guy didn't seem as so like to back off as much as our main guys who love the guy to mooch off our main character, the really strange cat and the black wolf. They didn't want to have anything to do with him if he was in there, and I think that comes from the whole life force draining business that started to occur with our character once he started to help out and sleep day by day next to this man who got to sleep on his bed, and he was sleeping on a futon on the ground, or like a like a sleeping bag. So it just goes to show you like the hospitality and how he treats something that people would consider monsters. He's pretty much treats them as if they're just another part of the family, which is really cool in my opinion, and I thought that played out quite well overall for this like narrative slash how this story just is as a whole. Um, Other than that, though, I don't know. I think this show has a good potential of being around. I just when I was looking around, I didn't see many people talking about it and stuff. So if it does do another season, it would just be mainly for the people who enjoyed and the people who actually stick around and wanted to see it, because at this point it definitely feels like no one that I really communicate has watched all of this. And I do kind of recommend it. Like, if you're into a show that just is weird and has the potential of throwing out anything that they want at any time, and not only that, that whenever things get solved, like, it's not literally the hero who just comes and solves the day and everyone's fine. Like, these entities and, like, beings show up and we honestly can't do anything about it. Like, we just have to obey or hope that they stop doing what we ask them to stop doing, and then even then it's not even for sure, you know. So that, and the fact that even if they do start doing what we want them to do, if they don't like it, like if they do it for so long and they're like, well, this is boring, like this is not as good as I thought the human would say it was, then they would just do whatever the heck they want. They're like, well, screw it, I'm leaving, or I'm doing whatever I want now, and you can't do anything against me. I was just being nice and listening, going along. But if you don't entertain me, peace. Uh, and we kind of saw that with the drinking guy. Like, if you guys aren't gonna entertain me, I'll just kill you now. You know, like if you lose right here, you're dead. And just because they found a clever way of bringing in some other people who can drink, that are just kind of like him, that have no real span of time like a human to live, it was a lot easier for it to play out. So I don't know, I really liked the way that they handled stuff. It felt realistic with a really unrealistic world. Just like the funny moments, how they dealt it. And mind you, the only reason why they can even have these conversations or even know what these beings are even thinking of is because of our boy, the Saiyan, the Air Saiyans, or whatever you want to call them. I don't know. I truly think this show is going to be swept under the rug, and if it does get a season 2, it's going to shine for a little bit longer and then be swept under the rug. It's definitely one of those shows that could be forgettable, seeing how nothing like really outstandingly like stood out, like a main character death, or even the fact that as soon as we saw this guy's get his sister back, she was the older sister and now she's the younger sister, you know, and they didn't really elaborate on that. That kind of gave me the idea that this show probably didn't have as much thought process into a longevity thing, because it could have easily gone on for a while, I feel like, and instead they kind of just jumped to the end. They're just like, and she was okay, and the guy who took her, aka the devil down below, he left him alone. Like, and that's it. That's your story, you know. So that was kind of disappointing in the grand scheme of how it ended. And you know, like, he then tries to do what he was gonna do. It winds up backfiring, and the guy who practically knew it was gonna backfire starts dying laughing because he is the Black Wolf. So I kind of hope that they do have moments like that where it has a lot of impact, but it already feels like they used all those stuff. So if this is the end, I'm not mad at it. To then see this guy, you know, take another to a place where he literally is going to be praised and loved as he was back in his time, possibly, it's absolutely a dope way to send off the show. And a dope way to just give this character, who's the most humble person we've seen in quite some time, and selfless, you know, just go in and completely blow our mind with how much he cares for everybody, not only his own race, but another race that has, you know, way more power and dictatorship over everything that happens in the world. But we do also know if any of these others go rampant and lose themselves, everyone has to like leave. So if there's one that's strong enough that goes crazy, all of the others would have to leave, like the area. So I'm guessing like Tokyo. They didn't really specify, but maybe they just have to leave Tokyo and have to like start over in America and places like that. So maybe they can do an episode. If there's a season 2, it would be something has happened like that somewhere, and a whole bunch are migrating, and others are coming, and you got to deal with some of them being killed off, and some new ones taking over, and then I don't write anime, but I can. No, I'm just joking, but I hope you guys have an awesome day, night, evening. I'm sorry this video came out a little bit much more separated between the two. I honestly didn't know if I was going to put anything out. I was looking around to see what I wanted to talk about, and this was a show I already had pictures of and stuff like that, which I might have deleted. Oh, I didn't think of that. But to be fair, it's not that hard to get them back, and not too many people really care for the series, so which is kind of sad, but harshly true. With all that being said, everybody, I hope you have an amazing day, night, evening. I am your boy, the Anime J, and I will definitely talk to you sooner than later. So with that, peace.